Alright, Moon 4. Sorry if you hear my cat meow. It turns out he's vocal right now. No trials. You promised. Of course. That's not what I'm worried about. Morning Paw's apprentice to Barley Wave. Red Star and Icicle Pool are acting strange. Red Star is nervous. She knows the woods have not been fed since the start of New Leaf. She needs to go on patrol soon. Hope Chase places her tail on Red Star's shoulder and provides words of support. Red Star is grateful to have a clanmate like Hope Chase. Why did you think it was a good idea to joke about sending Morning Paw on apprentice trial? It was one dumb comment, and I said I was kidding immediately. Icicle Pool complains about something Barley Wave did. Barley Wave feels defensive. Talonpaw distracts Morning Paw while their mentors argue, helping her set up her brand new bed next to his. Blech! You snooze, you lose. Warblerkit, no, that's mean! Warblerkit purposely takes prey that Red Star said she had her eyes on. He sticks his tongue out at her. Barley Wave tries to discipline him. Good climbing, Morning Paw. You having fun up there? I found a lot of moss in this spot. Can I bring it back? Of course, good eye. That'll help out a ton. Icicle Pool, Barley Wave, and their apprentices go training and teach Morning Paw how to climb trees. Morning Paw performs well, and she conveniently finds a good patch of moss to bring back to camp. Icicle Pool is rethinking how she feels about Barley Wave and decides to give him another chance. Thank you. I'm sorry your clan has to take care of me. My clan has to train a coward like me. Helping each other is just what we do. Even in these woods, you still try to help. Is that not brave? Huh, I guess so. Olive thanks Morning Paw for getting her fresh bedding. She's being very helpful. Olive gives Morning Paw advice she knows she needs. It's just... I'm getting lost more often, Winfur. Me! Lost! I've memorized every landmark. I'm not crazy. Hope Chase noticed too. What's happening to the forest? Breathe, cloud, thunder. Sometimes paths get overgrown, and other animals break vegetation. Two legs too. Not everything is an omen. Yeah, but like... What's that red thing? Right there. I don't like that. Winfur and Cloud Thunder spend time together. Cloud Thunder is anxious about the wood's next feed. Something's wrong, and she could feel it in her bones. Winfur calms her down, reminding her that StarClan gave Red Star 9 lives for a reason. Despite what he says, Winfur is also scared. What's this? It's Tansy. It's to help prevent green cough. It's not for you. Oh, can I hear the funny song you sang earlier? What? Brittlebone the Caster? Sure. Brittle was a bone of Brittlebone he. Shiverkit is spending more time in the medicine den, asking Winfur about what certain herbs do. She also likes his nursery rhymes that he recites to remember treatments. Winfur doesn't mind answering easy questions and repeating rhymes. Kids ask him easier questions than adults do. Hope Chase leaves on a patrol by herself, not thinking properly and forgetting that the woods haven't been fed. She sees a woodcrawler, and it sees her. Hope Chase runs fast. Don't leave me. Hope Chase couldn't breathe. Her ears were ringing as blood coursed through her entire body. She couldn't see, but it was all a shaking blur. All she could sense was the familiar scent of ForestClan's camp, the tall rock she had seen her leaders stand on. Birch Star, Lake Star, Red Star, apprentices, new warriors, the focal point of their society. Camp? Camp. Yes, she was in camp. Her senses started to return to her. The muffled voices of fear and concern around her faded into existence, as everyone's pelt suddenly melded into shape. Hope Chase, what's wrong? Are you alright? Dad, what's wrong with her? Warblerkit, listen to whatever Winfur and Red Star tell you right now, okay? Are you being followed? That last one was Winfur. She hated that question. Hated it. Hated it. He always asked that. What she hated the most was that she didn't know. She didn't dare look back. The second the leaves in the bushes rustled, the world fell into an all-engulfing silence. Long, spindling legs crawled into sight, like weavers threading the air, slowly, gently, with precision of an owl's talons. It had no eyes, but it still saw her. Hope Chase? Hope Chase's hackles flattened as a clear, cutting voice pierced through the haze of her mind. Her eyes focused on a bright white pelt that radiated through the green and brown forest. Hope Chase, you're alright. You're in camp. You're with clanmates. You're safe. Icicle Pool. It was Icicle Pool. She was wearing a brave mask as she stepped closer towards Hope Chase. Icicle Pool couldn't hide her fear. Hope Chase? What happened? The adrenaline in Hope Chase's veins started to slow. For a brief moment, Terra's claws released the Molly's heart, and Hope Chase seized that moment to fight back. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She took in every scent of comfort and safety in that breath. Her claymates, the sap of the pine trees, the mud and stones, the small cooking fire, the water boiling in a clay pot. She flexed her claws. The grass uprooted itself beneath them. She was alive. Woodcrawler, she finally spoke. I saw a woodcrawler. I ran. Many voices chimed in at once, but red stars quickly boomed above the rest as she took her place beside Icicle Pool. Where? And did it follow you? I didn't check, Hope Chase said. Her body and voice found their footing as she remembered how to act in an emergency. Close the gates now! Is anyone out on patrol? Red Star hissed. No, I don't even know, Hope Chase was. People's voices started overlapping again and again as a blend of chaos began. I'm declaring a lockdown. Icicle Pool, Talonpaw, Morning Paw. You three go help Winford carry Olive to my den. Right now. Barlywave, get your tail up here and pull the other gate rope, Cloud Thunder hissed. Yeah, keep your fur on. I'm Warbler Kit! What did Red Star just say about lockdown? Come on, Warbler Kit, No, not fair! Dad comes too! Hope Chase jumped on one of the tall pine trees that the clan's sliding gate was tied to, climbing past Barlywave and telling him curtly, Go attend your kit. I'll do it. Barlywave's tail flicked with annoyance before he crawled down, and Cloud Thunder looked at the dark gray Molly with gratitude. Thanks, Hope, Cloud Thunder uttered between her teeth as she pulled the bulrush rope off its handle. Hope Chase did the same, slowly bringing the gate of the sturdy logs and long branches to a thud. Their camp entrance was now blocked, and their walls were securely surrounded by pine logs, stone, and sharpened sticks stolen by two legs in their greenleaf place. These walls are what allowed them to survive for countless seasons. Everyone moved up into Red Star's den, retreating until their backs were as far back against the wall as they could. Icicle Pool stood at the den's entrance, looking over the clearing, while Red Star stood alone on top of ForestClan's gate, her ears twitching and her eyes darting. No cat spoke a single word. Even Warbler Kit sensed the gravity of the situation, and resigned to hiding under Barlywave's chest fur. Time crawled as cats waited and held breaths and focused stares. Olive, one of the newest members of the clan, glanced at them expectantly. The sheer air of fear prevented her from asking any questions, but they still sat on her tongue. Hope Chase watched Icicle Pool wordlessly communicate with Red Star across the clearing as the two kept their vigil. A swaying of the tail every 5 minutes, a high-pitched chirp every 10. By the 30-minute mark, Red Star made a low-pitched, rumbling meow. ForestClan released a collect breath of relief. They were not safe yet, but it seems that the woodcrawler did not follow Hope Chase. By the time the hour had passed, Red Star announced that the lockdown was over, and that cats could return to their regular duties, but to stay alert and to avoid the paths taken by Hope Chase for the next quarter moon. Life breathed into camp once more. Olive finally asked her lingering questions, and a patient Cloud Thunder answering her. Winford received help to escort Olive back to the nursery, and Warbler Kit and Shiver Kit bombarded Barlywave and Icicle Pool with questions, their fur still standing on end. Hope Chase, meanwhile, felt wrong. She sat in the middle of camp, staring at the fresh kill pile. She ought to grab food and start cooking meals. She was supposed to be on kitchen duty with Morning Paw. She was supposed to show her how to remove pelts from their prey. She promised Barlywave she'd do it, because he playfully said that he was always no good at it. She even laughed and agreed with him, but she just couldn't bring her paws to just pick something from the pile. She wasn't normally this shaken by woodcrawler sightings. She was old, she'd seen worse, but she'd also had faith her entire life that the world had to be inherently good. Red Star gave her the honor title, Hope Chase, when Lake Star was finally dethroned, for her constant optimism and faith in her clan. Even when many cats left ForestClan when Lake Star finally died, even when despair was the only thing in sight, she believed that in every death, things would be okay. So why now? Hope Chase. The dark gray Molly turned her head and saw Icicle Pool staring at her. The deputy tilted her head and gave her a look of gentle concern. She sat next to her fur bristling gently against hers. Icicle Pool placed her tail on Hope Chase's shoulder. Are you okay? Oh, are you worried about little old me? Hope Chase said, with a forced purr. Clearly, Icicle Pool saw through her on that one. Hope Chase, it's okay if you're shaken. Shaken? No, I'm going to teach Boarding Paw on how to skin pelts. I'm just trying to pick something out, Hope Chase insisted. Ah, yes, because you take more than 5 minutes staring at the fresh kill pile as a part of the process. Hope, come on. Please be honest with me, Icicle Pool mewed, her tail brushing against her clanmate's back gently. Hope Chase still kept a forced smile on her face. Alright. Maybe the adrenaline wasn't good in my bones. You're right, I'm tired. But I do have promises to keep. Then let me take over. Thought that you were going to spend time with Shiverkit tonight. She can watch Morning Paw and I. She enjoys staring at cats when they do something new, Icicle Pool said with a purr. Those bright blue eyes of hers are always inquisitive. You should see the amount of questions Winfur is plagued with. The poor boy is inundated. Hope Chase felt her heart beat warmly as she spoke about her kit. Icicle Pool was so much more like how she remembered her when they were younger, attentive and loving. Icicle Pool remembered every little thing she liked about you, and always let others know. It was her greatest ambition in life to be a mother. If fates were different, maybe Icicle Pool would have made a great queen and teacher. She knew Icicle Pool always had eyes for Cliff Step alone, and she couldn't blame her. He was a thoughtful, empathetic Tom, with similar ambitions to Icicle Pool's. His death had destroyed her and permanently changed her for moons. Hope Chase was always worried that she'd never get to see her old self again. But she started to see cracks of it more recently, and her heart swelled every time she saw them. The more she thought about Icicle Pool, the better she felt, but she knew the deputy wouldn't allow her to rest on that distraction. Hope Chase, please. Let me take over the lesson today. I don't want to make that an order, but I will if you don't get to your nest, Icicle Pool insisted. By the look in her eyes, Hope Chase knew that she wasn't going to be swayed by anything else. The older Molly sighed and got to her feet. Alright. I can't say no to our lovely deputy. Icicle Pool's whiskers twitched in amused affection. Get some good rest. As Hope Chase padded away and slinked into the warrior's den, the light comfort that Icicle Pool gave her faded. She felt the weight in her heart sink as the world around her loomed. She curled up in the nest and stared at the wall. Her thoughts swarmed like gnats. Someone hadn't fed them woods in 5 moons. The clan knew that Red Star was trying. She kept leaving at night and returning in the morning. Her eyes were getting more and more sunken, and her fur was getting kinks. Her silence upon entering camp every morning spoke every word that was needed. Hope Chase buried her face in her bedding. Her lips curled, and she suppressed a hiss in her throat. Olive was pregnant. Everyone knew that now, and no one spoke their fears. The woods were not fair. They were opportunistic. If someone doesn't sacrifice themselves, it'll be Olive's kits, or Warbler Kit, or Shiver Kit. It will take whichever clanmate is deemed the easiest to catch. It was always the greatest tragedy of ForestClan, that kits were extremely vulnerable to the woods. The only time kits were safe is if the woods were fed recently. She should have fed the woods. She was the eldest cat in the clan. Every other cat in the clan was young and lively, with their entire futures ahead of them. And Kit's, it wasn't fair that so many of them didn't get the chance to truly live. She lived a good life, didn't she? Dying wasn't so bad, right? StarClan was willing to save her soul. Her family was waiting for her. She could finally see her mother and father again. She could listen to her Uncle Rootgrove's stories again. And her brother Icy Paw. Oh, Icy Paw. She missed her littermate. She couldn't remember his face anymore. And that hurt her. She didn't have any regrets, right? So why did she just doom the children of her clan? Hope Chase quivered like a kit in Leaf Bear, failing to suppress the sorrow in her chest. She buried her face in the moss and pelts and muzzled her wails, desperately pleading that no cat would walk in. They couldn't. They just couldn't see her like this. She was Hope Chase now. She had been for months. Not Lightfoot. Hope Chase, the pursuer of hope. She brought her clan hope. Today, she just went out to bring them food. She brought them back suffering instead. Why didn't she just feed the woods? Red Star tries to feed the woods. She really does. but the woods are silent. Red Star waited with her back turned to the woodcrawler's nest for several hours now. She watched as the sun set on the horizon and the nocturnal creatures started emerging from their dens. Crickets rang and the occasional owl called in the distance. Still, she waited. She had to. The woods darkened even further as a claw-shaped moon peeked through the canopy. Red Star gazed towards the sky. She was greeted with shining stars of her ancestors above, their light twinkling with determination to fill the sky enough to make up for the moon's minimal presence. So why did Red Star feel so resentful? Her tail twitched with anger. She disrupted her visual and turned around to stare at the very same den that the woodcrawler had killed her from several moons ago. When she first came to hear a new leaf looking to feed the woods, she had encountered the most disturbing effigy that she had ever seen a woodcrawler emerge from. At the time, she could only fear pure terror as the hollowed eye sockets of a cat's skull bore down on her. Its unhinged jaw was stretched unfathomably wide as a mimicry of her words clawed its way out of its throat. Only when she was finally home, back to safety of her camp walls, did she decide that it must have been decayed remnants of a fake cat, weaponized by the creature of the woods one last time before being absorbed back into their underground dens. And that angered her. She knew that the woods had no mercy and no sense of morality. It had no qualms about using the skins of the dead to lure in their prey. It was just one more way to torment ForestClan and anything else they hunted. So what was this exactly? This freakish disinterest in hunting her, taking her, whatever it was that woodcrawlers did. This was the 5th time she went out in the middle of the night to this same den, only to return to her clan with nothing. She could feel the disappointment and the worry in their eyes. She was failing them. She was scaring them. She didn't know what else she could do. She couldn't just attack the roots around the den. If StarClan couldn't heal her fast enough, she would lose multiple lives while she was just being dragged away by an agitated monster. But if she had to go one more night without being taken, then... Red Star's heart sunk in her chest. She recognized the heaviness of her eyelids. She sat back down and closed her eyes, sighing deeply. She never thought it would hurt this much to do, out of all things. Have the woods reject a meal. Did they catch an unfortunate two-leg? Did a poor rogue or loner wander too close to a tunnel? Was it her? Red Star's tail thumped against the ground as her memories stirred in her head. She remembered when she was an apprentice, a long time ago, before she held any resentment towards Lake Star. It was a cold leaf fall morning, and Red Paw at the time felt numb. Icicle Paw had just lost her only sibling to the apprentice trials, while Cliff Paw was comforting the white she-cat with a gentle touch. Red Paw just felt confused and empty. She didn't know what to tell Icicle Paw. Lake Star decided to help train Red Paw. Red Paw's mentor was in the medicine den, and it was then that Red Paw prompted her leader. Lake Star, is it true that you have 9 lives from StarClan? Used to, yes. I have less now, but still more than the rest of us, right? You don't need to play coy, Red Paw. I know what you're asking. And no, I cannot sacrifice my lives to feed the woods. How come? It just doesn't work that way. The woodcrawlers can tell my scent, and those of protectors of secrets. StarClan touches us in a way that the woods can smell. Redpaw must have given her some kind of look, because Lake Star's sharp green eyes pierced their own. The woods can remember being tricked, Redpaw, and it remembers when someone wronged it. As Red Star opened her heavy eyelids and returned to the present, she couldn't help but ruminate on her predecessor's words. For the longest time, she thought she was simply lying. There could be no other explanation for her refusal to sacrifice her lives, other than cowardice. But now, she shook the thought. Was she telling the truth? "You will take my lives," she hissed at the black den before her. "You will gorge yourself on them and nothing else. Do you understand? You won't ever get a choice. Not anymore. I don't care how long it takes." The crickets and the tree frogs sounded her reply. Red Star turned her back towards the den coldly. She looked up at the stars one last time. She wasn't sure where Lake Star went after she died. She tried not to think of it, especially not after she heard her screaming over and over as living tendrils stole her remaining lives while she begged StarClan to not let the Roops trap her. Red Star spared her clanmates the task of confirming her final death, but she never forgot the sound she made as the deep roots swallowed her into the pit. Still, Red Star thought, maybe this was one last vengeance, one last trick from Lake Star. If she were here, she would laugh at her. Laugh like the woods were surely mocking her now. Go on. Jump in. Feed the woods. She wouldn't give up. No matter what. She would never bow to the woods and their cruel traditions of her predecessors. That time of ForestClan was over. She will be different. She will be better. She will bring lasting moons of peace to ForestClan. Allow her clanmates to feel safe, for once in their lives. She made a promise to them. She had to. Alright, that's it. See you later.